I'd like to call to order the Port of Siuslaw Commission. All commissioners are present. Next we have a presentation. Step on up here.
Which goes across Rhododendron Drive to the edge of the Siuslaw River. This is an extract from the port's strategic, whoops, got two screens here I gotta work with. This is an extract from this port's strategic business plan of 2013. Now it sets a 5-year goal to have sold this particular parcel. I am of the opinion that the current configuration marketing approach is not going to get this sold anytime during this decade. I'm not a realtor, though my background does include buying, managing, maintaining, and selling residential properties. So let me pull this up here. Okay. The Sandlot was listed for $1.5 million until April of 2016. An appraisal done in June 2016 figured it would take 2 years to sell it. That would be about this summertime, and it would be for around $800,000. The appraisal highlighted that only non-offensive commercial use was allowed. There's special 100-foot setback, and also that there's a 30% of the sandlot closest to the river is actually in the FEMA tsunami flood zone. The immediate neighbor reported that his purchase of 1.8 acres in 2016 followed over a decade of no other sales. He reported the aging owner of a pair of nearby ready-built buildings is looking to sell. And that, let's see if we can find that. Right there, those two buildings right there. Already built, guy's looking to getting old, is looking to sell. Now, there's also, besides this, the city's $30,000 system development fee, demands for open landscaping and other requirements. Then if you take a look at one of these pictures here, you see that there's a northwestern wedge that is cut out, and that is the smelly, noisy garbage transfer site. That's where that's located. And finally, any developer will need to overcome numerous other city, state, federal, and flood restrictions. Now, the obvious solution is to take a huge problem and reduce it down to smaller, troublesome units. Basically, extensively subdivide the lot and maybe write off or turn into a park that lower flood zone. But the city will not allow rezoning nor subdividing, according to Commissioner Mayer, when the suggestion was brought up by the public during the regular port meeting of the 9th of January of this year. Now, I'm of the opinion that the port's options are limited to finding somebody with lots of energy and very long-term goals. And the port is very busy elsewhere and really does not have the funding to put the monies necessary into further developing this property. It needs to prepare for a very long-term selling strategy, perhaps a decade long, and as a for sale by owner, otherwise known as FSBO. If we take a look at the port's website, and let me get over here. There's an extensive write-up on the industrial lot. Some pictures are in there. Lots of good information. Excellent. But it's got one big problem. It is too remote for those who are looking for this type of property to purchase. In the past, a realtor, hence, is used to get the buyer and the seller together, putting out a reasonable listing. Now, the port tried this through a realtor who said $1.5 million, and that failed in the past. We have now a listing here. This is a listing that was done in February of this year. That is for $875,000. Even though the appraisal said as of this summer it would only be maybe $800,000 in value. Now one needs to ask,
Could you back that up just a little bit?
back it up. Okay, what would you like?
It just said at the top, residential lots and land. Oh, that's just the category. It's probably listed under. Okay. You see what I'm looking at there, residential lots and land? That's the category they listed on the multiple MLS.
So there we are. We have a few pictures of the areas. You can see it's going through some of those there, and a short paragraph description. So one needs to ask if using a realtor is worth the current 6% commission, which in this case is $53,000. Because really, anybody who's needing to see the site can simply drive over to the sandlot and walk around. Anyone looking to purchase 39 acres in an industrial park has no need to have their hands held. Anyone concerned with lawful purchase will know that the title company is what makes this happen. So the only value for having a realtor is to get access to the MLS. However, today's world is driven by the internet, which democratizes access to information. To get to the proprietary MLS requires going through each realtor in each geographic area. There's an alternative. Zillow's is a nationwide site, free for buyers and sellers, where single search can cover any size area. It is the premier website for anybody seeking to buy and sell properties, although it is rejected in general by the realtors. So Zillow data mines the MLS. Notice here we have the pictures, we have a little paragraph, and if you take a look at what was put out by the realtor, it's the same little generic paragraph, which is nothing compared to what the port puts out in its extensive explanation of what the site is about.
Is there a link to the port's site on the realtor's site?
I did not find any.
Okay, thank you.
The port needs to be, let's see. Now, with the data mining, there are 50 possible pictures with captions that could be put out, but only 20 rather nondescript ones, absent any comment, are actually there. And so, let's see, here you are, just basic pictures, nothing else. The port needs to be in full control of the marketing, of the materials, and of what is on the nationwide listing. I visited the lot and found the realtor's information box was empty, but just not to worry much, because if there is anything there, it tends to be a one-sided black and white data dump from the MLS. It is not a good color brochure, multi-part. Unfortunately, the port has entered into a year-long listing contract that lasts to February of next year. And really, not much can be done until the port is freed of that contract. Now, it could ask the current realtor for an early release. I am willing to mentor the port staff to create a useful nationwide listing and the marketing materials. Then, in addition, I am of the opinion that the port should consider dropping the asking to $795,000. Remember, the appraisal said $800,000. And then each anniversary to drop an additional $50,000 to $100,000 until it sells. Yes, this will take years, but the port is not really able, unlikely willing, to put in the several $1,000s it will cost to try to further develop this parcel, especially with all of its problems. Back here. I hope that this satisfies the request by the port's board regarding my findings, opinions, and recommendations. I would add the disclaimer: I am not a realtor, though I am well experienced in buying, maintaining, managing, and selling residential property. My opinions and recommendations are to be considered in this light. That ends my presentation, and I can pull up any of the stuff you'd like.
Any questions, Mike? Bill?
No, thank you, Keith. I appreciate your presentation, and I think you made some excellent points.
Okay,
As well, thank you. Good job.
excuse me.
Kelly, do you have any public comments on this?
Jeff Hale.
Oh, okay. Hello, Jeff.
Hi, how are you? I was wondering if
Go ahead,
anything,
come forward.
I don't need to come forward, be brief. If anything was found out on the ownership of the road. Right here.
I didn't find anything out.
What is that in relationship to?
Well,
I missed.
I think you're talking about, what, Oak Street?
The
Or,
boat ramp road
Yeah.
would be,
And any stipulations that the city has over it.
Did you ask anybody at staff to research that?
yes, he had asked us, and we had sent in a request, I believe, and I didn't follow up on it yet, but I will. I'll
I
follow
think
up
if that
on it.
request is made to Wendy Farley, she can shed some light on that.
Oh, no. She won't talk to me.
She won't talk to you.
No, it.
I've been there twice and they
Public
showed,
record. It's public record.
I can get it if I want to pay to get it, or you can get it for free.
I will get it for you.
I don't need it personally. I'm just trying to finalize stuff that. the
What's your
commission
question? Who?
owns it and what are the stipulations on it? Meaning, I've been told by people that the city owns it and you can't do anything. Then the city says, we don't own it, we have no jurisdiction over it. And supposedly coming from you, you say, the city has restrictions on it. And I just said, nobody seems to know, let's just find out. So I went to the city, I got the form, got it here, that you could request the information from the city. For me, they're gonna give you $15 a page or something, and we'll give you all you want.
I'm only telling you, I told you in private conversation, and I'll repeat it in public, that the city did sign that over to the port with the caveat that they cannot charge for the usage, because it was public property before they give it, and they want it public property afterwards. And that's what I'll go on record. That's what was quoted to me by Wendy Farley. Wendy Farley has seen, and this is, I guess, considered hearsay, I'm not smart enough to say, but she told me she's seen the document. She needs to locate the document. So you're welcome to follow up on that. Please do.
I
And
just
and I'm
figured
sure
because-
Dave will too.
Because basically what I was told is you can't charge because the city has something. If the state says you can charge, I mean, there's all kinds of things. And then, I think I read something that they're gonna start getting sticky on the parking during the summer months around here.
You're talking to a person that's already got a parking.
Not the
ticket.
port, the city.
The city,
Yeah.
yes, is gonna start cracking down on the parking.
Yeah, we just have to wait and see how that goes.
Yeah, it's a city issue, that's not our issue.
Yeah, we have nothing to say about the parking in the city.
Yeah. We need to go to the city council. and
Yeah,
do a
I
public-
guess I understand that, but that trailer isn't parked there unless they launch a boat at your place. So there is some correlation. But
Okay,
Thank you.
I'm not sure the
I
whole
don't know
point
where
of
we're
this.
going on this.
I don't either, so if you'd like to,
trying to get income, how's that? Trying to get income
So you
for the
want,
board.
oh, okay, so cutting right to the chase, you want us to, if available, your suggestion is we charge to launch.
Absolutely.
Okay, that would have been nice to have it right off the bat.
Well, it was, just because I didn't do it here. The staff is
Oh,
aware.
okay, all right.
and I think we've covered this, Kelly, as far as if we do charge to launch, we lose a portion.
We
Of
would-
our parking.
We would lose our MAP money,
Right.
depending on how much we're receiving.
Yes. So there comes a point there where
There's a
losing ground.
percentage,
Yeah,
right, which I
Yeah.
turned over also, that you lose, depending on what you charge.
I think though, before any more conversation, someone does need to go to the city, and it sounds like Manager Huntington will, and make a records request to Wendy. So, okay, thank you. Anything else? Anybody else going?
Yeah, we have Lynn Wilson.
Hi, I'm Lynn Wilson. I'm just here as a camper. I'm a Lane County resident, originally from the valley. And I've been camping here for on and off for the last 20 years. And I just heard that there was a meeting tonight and wasn't sure what all the subject matter was. But on behalf of a camp patron, I'm here to tell you that our experiences through the years have been hit and miss with the port and the camping, requirements and all of that, and how we've experienced in the past a lot of chaos and mayhem. And I just wanted to say that I'm really impressed as a camper here at how much difference I've seen this year in terms of, I believe it was 2 years the last time we were here, maybe 3. I'm just really impressed with how it's being upkept and access to facilities. The facilities have been extremely clean and well-maintained. The park folks have been real cordial and real welcoming, and the sites are clean. We don't seem to have the problem with the maintenance in terms of people with animals here. And I just wanted to let y'all know that. I don't know all the specifics of this meeting, but that's from a camping point of view. We've been here almost 2 months, and it's just been an incredible experience
Don't
overall.
stop now, keep going.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's.
Can I ask a favor of you?
Absolutely.
Can you come to every meeting?
Jump
I
up
would
and
love
down.
to, but we are full-time RVing, but, and on a side note, access to a lot of information in terms of what's in the city and things to do. There's so much more literature in the office now than what there used to be. And I went to the office for recommendations on fishing charters and whale watching and all kinds of stuff, and it's just been an amazing experience. And
Thank you.
unfortunately, we have to leave on the 30th, but we were supposed to stay through July, but family matters came up and we have to leave a month early, but we'll definitely be back for long term. I think we'll be welcome, won't we?
Lynn, thank you, and I would attribute that to the manager and his staff. I mean,
Absolutely.
There's been a lot of progress
Absolutely.
made, and they deserve the kudos.
I'm here to give them, because
Thank
it's
you.
just, it's been a night and day difference. And we were even here for the Rhododendron Festival, and with all the, we're bikers as well, but, just overall, it was so well managed. No fights, everybody just had a great time.
Well,
So.
for fights, you need to come to the commission meeting, other than that.
Well, anyway, I thank you for your time and hope y'all have a good evening and,
Third Wednesday of every month.
yeah. Well, I'll be here, I won't be here next time, will I? No.
Yeah, but everybody but Mike likes to hear good news, so we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right,
Lynn.
well, anyway, y'all have a good evening.
You too, thank you. Lynn.
Larry, it was
Sorry,
good to
Mike,
see
I
you.
knew where you were.
You're a great fishing partner.
Any
Frank,
public comments?
Frank,
Oh, you're ready for me now?
you signed up to speak.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, Frank.
Can I just right from here?
You're welcome to, if you feel comfortable. Please introduce yourself.
My name's Frank Isley. I'm a member of the Yurok tribe from Northern California. I live in Florence, well known here in town. I applied for the port job, port commission job, be appointed, never got an interview. So I'm here to ask, how come I didn't get an interview?
Let me answer that. We had, I believe, 10 applicants,
Yes.
and we narrowed it down. The 3 sitting commissioners each chose 3 or 4 applicants that they would like to bring in for interviews.
And they'll be interviewed tonight?
No, the interviews are done.
Oh, they've already been appointed?
No, they have not been appointed.
Okay.
The interviews have been done. So,
Well, I appreciate, I would have appreciated an interview. Because I've got 22 years' experience on a port down in Klamath, plus I'm a businessman my whole life.
I understand that, Frank, and because we did not interview, we had 10 applicants. We chose the 5, I shouldn't say we, each one of us chose a handful. We put them in and we brought those people in for the interview, the live interview. That's just the way we
So
conducted
the
it.
port now is all local people, or they were,
Right now is the 3 of us.
The
and
3
then
of
where are you
us.
guys from?
What does local mean? Would you define it?
I'm from Redondo Beach,
Like, where are
California.
you
From the Port District.
I'm from Maple.
from the port district? Oh, okay, good, good.
I was born and raised in Florence.
Yeah, I know you were. Yeah, you guys we all know each other.
Sure.
You know
So,
that-
and it's not a matter of, unfortunately, Frank, tonight, this has to be a public process. We've interviewed everybody in public. We're going to make the cuts and the appointments in public.
See, 1,500 people voted for me last year.
That's fine, and let me,
Taxpayers.
that's
that
not,
are
we're not
local
making
people,
a,
as the people that you chose, were they ever voted in the votes for Port Commission? These are local taxpayers want to know, how the port's being run, that voted for me.
And you
So-
can run the next time.
There we go.
in 2
But
years,
I was just
in
hoping
1
to get-
year, there'll be 2 more
Right.
positions available.
I was
And
just
I would
trying-
encourage you.
I know, because I decided to live here, so I'm gonna get, civic minded. Because Wilbur Turnick is my uncle, tribal uncle. It is Joyce presented me with a tribal pipe, which passed the torch from his position to me in a tribal law and tribal belief. And in 1905 was the last tribal treaty that was signed in Florence here. I found it, and the tribes have copies of all those. Those are very important documents for somebody to be on a port commission, to have, to find out, and the tribe has a say in this port. But, it's all environmental. I come from a logging family, I come from a fishing family. So I support those logging and fishing here. The tourism is gotta be kind of kept in check because it'll damage our water. I take water samples on that port from the beginning of June 1st, when the boats all show up, and every day I go down and test that water, how much oil is being dumped in that, from these boats. That's how you do your studies. How much damage is done to the port.
Yeah, I
Did it
think
on
we're
the
straying here a little bit, but we have a
We're done.
long
I'm
meeting.
done.
Okay,
I
well,
just thought I'd get a year's jump on the port. Training new port members is tough. Reading all the bylaws and training, it's tough to
We
train.
understand that.
we understand that, and it was not a reflection on any of the candidates. Believe me, we appreciated, we were overwhelmed with the number of candidates we received, applications, and we had to pare it down.
And we get to meet them tonight, right?
You're going to hope to get to meet the 2 new sitting commissioners.
Do we get the names of the 3 that didn't get picked?
It's public record. I don't feel
There's
that,
only
we don't
2.
know who they are yet. We honestly don't know who the 3 are.
The 5 are.
We know who the 5 are.
We're electing 2.
We're electing 2 out of the 5. So,
Okay. I had my say. Thank you.
thank you, Frank.
Okay, that was it, but we still need to approve the agenda.
No modifications or corrections.
Oh, I'm sorry, I jumped over approval of agenda to get to the public comment. So,
Yeah, me either. I'm good.
okay. That being said, the agenda is approved. Minutes, the 6/7/18 special session.
Yeah, I'm good with those.
Good.
The 6/17 and the 6/16 regular meeting are approved by consent.
That's 5/7 and 5/16.
Sorry, I didn't have my glasses on.
That's okay.
Thank you for the,
And I was about to correct it, but that's all right.
thank you. There, now I can read them. Approval of the financials. Kelly, do you have a presentation for us this evening?
Okay, so the bills paid in May were $71,619.91. For our occupancy, for the percent of occupancy, for last year was 35%. This year, for this month, we're at the 45%. And the mortgage is down 1%, just like it was last month. Which should rise with the voting season coming up. The other thing for the financials, it kind of goes with number 7, resolution 6/2018A, to transfer funds between the appropriation categories in the general fund. If you go to tab 8, no, I'm sorry. That would be tab 7.
Okay.
There's a resolution there, and behind that, you'll see a profit and loss versus the actual for general fund. So I did just like our regular financials, but I did one for the beginning of the fiscal year to today's date. And that shows that we have 33,000, and I highlighted it there, $113.41, in the personnel services. We've already had the paydays this month, so that is what is gonna be left over in the fiscal year. And the material and services for June, there's only 18,460 available, which I think we're gonna end up going over. Because none of our months have been as low as 18,000. And so I think we need to move some of that money from the personnel to the material and services so we don't go over budget on that.
So we have a reduction of 19,000 in the personal services, and
To
the
put in
proposal
the-
is to transfer that.
Yes.
To material and services, so we don't go, over.
I would so move we adopt the resolution.
Which one are you speaking of?
Okay, let me be more specific. I move that we adopt the resolution number 6-20-18A, transfer funds between appropriation categories in the general fund.
Okay, I would second that with one exception, or with one change. Under whereas the Port of Siuslaw, we have not overexpended yet.
No, we have not yet.
Right, well, it does say that we have overexpended as of this date.
Okay, I can change it.
And I'd second that with that change.
I approve
Motion
the
made
modification.
and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The motion passes with rewording. Is that
That's it.
suffice? Is that your final financials? You good? Okay.
Unless anybody has any questions.
Mike, you have any questions?
No, I missed.
Bill?
Nope.
New business, open public hearing for fiscal year 2018-19 budget.
We didn't skip over one of the action items, did we? Open public hearing, sorry, correct, you're on, right on point.
This is a resolution adopting the budget, making appropriations and levying taxes. I don't think I'm gonna read through do I need to read that?
I don't think as long as we've all read it.
I don't think you have to read it.
And you're talking about resolution 6-20-18.
Correct.
Resolution.
The
yeah.
total adopted budget that we're adopting is $1,740,425.
And the general fund tax rate of .1474 per thousand.
Which is the same as the last 5 years, isn't it?
Yeah, never changes.
we have to have, I mean, is this public hearing, are we gonna take public comment on this? Sure.
You can take public comment and then
Public
close the
comment, yeah.
public hearing after the comments.
At this point, are there any public comments? Anybody like to talk about the budget? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing.
I do want to ask one question real quick.
Sure.
Sorry. On the resolution, is this for the general fund?
It's for both. It's,
Is
so
it?
there's 1,000,000.
Oh, I'm sorry, there it is, the capital maintenance fund.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's a total of both.
Services are really good.
A motion?
No, you wanna move this one?
Yeah, I'd move that we adopt Resolution 6/2018, adopting the budget, making resolutions, or making appropriations and levying the taxes.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So be moved and passed and adopted.
Great.
Okay, now we're here for the number 9, which is review and appoint applicant to commissioner position number 2 and swear the oath of office.
Well, it's been a pretty tough go with this, gentlemen.
I'd like to open it just by saying to all the applicants, this is the first time, I've been on this board 8 years, and this is the first time we've done it in this manner, had everything public, and it's probably the first time in 8 years it's been legal. We did the research, this is what has to be done. I'm sorry, and I'm sincere in that. We're advised that we have to make it a public process. It's a tough position for us to be in. We have friends and neighbors and barbers and whatever else out there, you know, that we have to make a tough cut. It's like us being on America's Got Talent right now. And I'm sincere when I say that, because we pared it down. The 10 were more than what we ever thought we would get. Now we've had to pare it down to 5. It's just a tough cut. And it's gonna cause some hurt feelings, it's gonna cause some bad feelings. Once again, my position's up in 2 years, as these gentlemen here, and theirs, the ones that get appointed are up in a year. So, I strongly recommend that you come out and run for a position if you're so inclined. So, that being said, Mike, you had the floor, I'm sorry, I took it from you.
Can I add something in terms of the process so that everybody understands? Well, there's only 3 commissioners available on a 5-commission board. It takes a vote of all 3 of us to select on this first appointment. It takes a vote of all 3 of us to make the selection. And to restate what was said, we appreciate all the candidates, and if I'm not supporting you, that doesn't mean you are not highly qualified. Quite frankly, none of them that we interviewed are a deal breaker for me. Anyway,
It's like I said at the interviews, I wish we could have a board of 8, because I'd put all 5 of you on it. I really would. I mean, it's not doable, I know, but it's a tough position. So, that being said,
Well, I feel the same way, and it's an uncomfortable position to be in with everybody here. I would like to move that we appoint Craig Brandt to fill position 2.
Craig Brandt's right here in the front. I would second that motion.
there's been a motion made and seconded. Any discussion?
Only thing I can say is I've been around Craig for a lot of years, and I appreciate the volunteer effort that he makes, and I also know him to be a person with, although he won't admit to this, considerable social skills. And sometimes that comes in real handy when you're sitting on a board where we have to deal with some contentious issues. So I'm glad he applied, and those would be the extent of my comments.
Well, Craig, I don't know you at all, but I appreciate the time that you spend in the STEP program. I liked some of the things you said and how you said them.
Well, I appreciate the nomination. I mean, it's just one of those things. I mean, it's something that I live down here, I live here, and I love the port, so we gotta have something to go out and do something, you know, we gotta get together and get this thing going in the right direction. And I think this young lady that camped over here said something good. I mean, it's really come around in the last year and a half, it really has. And I think we're going in the right direction with it, so,
That being said, would you accept the nomination if you're?
yes, I will.
That's a fair question, because at the interviews,
Yeah, right. At the interview, yes, I did pull mine,
Yeah,
yeah.
but we told him to sit there, and he went through the call for the
motion's
question.
made, I'm gonna call for the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Start,
Commissioner Meyer says aye.
Commissioner Buckwald says aye.
Commissioner Dooman says aye. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Do we have a chair for him? He's now.
You aren't done that easy,
Hold
I
on,
can swear you in.
Hold on for a second. We need to swear Craig in before he
Okay,
takes a
all
seat,
right.
so.
And we'll do that right
And
now.
Peggy, Peggy's gonna take some pictures of the process for your scrapbook.
hair.
Oh, yeah, this is as good as it gets. You guys know that.
Okay, so this time we're going to do your oath of office, and I need you to raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Craig Brandt,
I, Craig Brandt,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of Oregon
and the Constitution of Oregon
and the laws thereof,
and the laws thereof,
and I will faithfully and honorably
and I will faithfully and honorably
discharge my duties
discharge my duties
as Commissioner of the Port of Sayula.
as Commissioner of the Port of Sayula.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
We need a chair up here.
Oh, I'll just sit on the floor.
No.
Yeah, just,
Here.
Yeah,
you have to carry your own chair.
Yeah.
why don't you sit next to Terry and keep Terry in line?
Welcome, Craig.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna trouble you right in the middle of everything.
I guess I'd like to ask the question to Craig, you heard the interviews. Do you feel qualified to help select the next commissioner?
Yes, I do.
Okay, that's what I had asked. Thank you. That being said, we're going to now review and appoint applicant to commissioner position number 4. The floor is open.
I would like to nominate John J. Cable for the position.
Motion is made.
I second that.
All those, any discussion?
I just like Craig, I've known Jay a lot of years, dealt with him financially, watched his business operation and again, his people skills in dealing with the public. And I appreciated his vision statement. I think we need to not just maintain the status quo, but we need to move the sport forward. And I really appreciated his comment, and I heard from the peanut gallery that it was just an excellent presentation.
White, any comment? Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Meyer?
Aye.
Was there a second for that?
Oh,
Yes, Craig was.
Craig seconded.
Sorry.
Commissioner Brandt? Commissioner McBride?
Nay.
Commissioner Gilman? Nay. That motion has failed. I'll open it back up.
Go ahead.
It's open
I
for.
don't have any.
Well, we need to get a fifth one tonight anyhow, one
We
way or
do.
the other. I mean, so, I think Jay was the next one that was capable of doing this. I mean, he's been around here forever. I was here with all the interviews, can't remember all their names. So do you have a copy of the, right in here, but I don't have my glasses. but-
Kelly, a cheat sheet list of the nominees, is that under one of the tabs?
No, it's
Would be-
not. I can go get,
Dave, can you?
The
Lawrence,
applications.
Lawrence Scoville.
Craig Zalesi.
Craig Zalesi and Mayor.
Mayor Testa.
I would like to make a motion to nominate Craig Salesi for position number 5.
I'd second that.
The motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion?
No, not at this point.
I'm good.
Roll call vote. Commissioner Buckwald?
Aye.
Commissioner Duman? Aye. Commissioner Brandt?
Aye.
Commissioner Meyer?
Nay.
3-1 vote, which would carry. Am I correct, Bill?
That would you,
That
I
is
want to make
correct.
sure I do everything in the correct procedure here. This point here, it's 3-1. Commissioner Salesi, Mr. Salesi would be Commissioner number 5. Are you willing to accept?
Yes.
Come on up. Thank you.
Same thing, you oath of office. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Craig Zalesi,
I, Craig Zalesi,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of Oregon
and the Constitution of Oregon
and the laws thereof,
and the laws thereof,
and that I will faithfully and honorably
and that I will faithfully and honorably
discharge my duties
discharge my duties
as Commissioner of the Port of Sayula.
as Commissioner of the Port of Siuslaw.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Craig. We'll probably have to make a box for you to sit on.
Another chair right there.
Welcome to the port.
Thank
Welcome.
At this point here, I'd like to thank the candidates or the interviews. I know there's, like I stated earlier, I can't say it any better than that. So I thank you for your applications, and I've got 2 years left. So I intend, I won't even say that. So
I only have one.
I know that. I don't think they're gonna come after you though, buddy. At this point, we're gonna move on. Craig, are you gonna join us up here?
Yeah, let's,
You
Go ahead and sit next to Mike.
You go ahead and take my chair.
Okay.
Get out here.
It's gonna be tough to get to Craig.
Craig one and Craig two. That'll be confusing. Welcome to the board, Craig.
thanks.
I was talking to him. I was talking to him.
We'll both nod.
Yeah.
This time here, we have manager and commissioner reports. Dave?
Right now, I've been trying to get a few people down so we can get started on some of our projects for the next fiscal year.
So hold on, David. Yeah.
We're trying to figure out where we're at.
Up speed here. Okay.
Well, I didn't want to interrupt you. You guys go ahead.
No, I'm sorry.
Do what you want to do.
I've been trying to get people down to start getting on some of our projects going through the next fiscal year. Joe Morell's been down from the tank tester to give us information on our fuel system and set up a time frame on that. I got the people from Access Control coming down within the next couple weeks to look at the security gates and get that project going. Been working with the Chamber of Commerce on the 4th of July this year. They've come down and did a site tour with us, and we figured out where we're gonna put the dumpsters and the porta potties, and they're gonna have volunteers helping us out this year. Jason and I plan on working the 4th of July, so the chamber will have staff here helping us out too with picking up the garbage and doing all that kind of stuff. The radio station's gonna be here. They'll be setting up a remote broadcast somewhere on the boardwalk. The fireworks this year will be synchronized to music, so it'll be something new, which will be pretty neat. And
Do you understand how that's gonna work?
yeah, it's all computerized where they have something on the barge that synchronizes they'll go off with some patriotic music that the radio station's playing in some way. But I don't totally understand
It'll be
it.
the William Tell Overture and have it going along.
But it ought to be neat, something new and different.
No,
And on one other note, I kinda think that maybe we should set up a work session with Jack Aiken at some point to bring the new commissioners up to speed. And I've talked to him, and sometime maybe after the 16th of July or something, we can set something up, so, and just for our benefit too, to be brought up to speed on that project.
Have there been any permits issued yet, Dave?
Not actually. They're kinda held up for a little bit right now. It should be within the next week, he tells me, but they're
haven't
gonna.
we been told that the last?
Well, it could take up to 120 days, so they're.
Starting like 112 days ago?
Yeah, and so they're gonna take all of their time on that.
This is the riprap.
Oh, okay.
Sea road
The
section.
Sea Road Erosion Project, the FEMA project.
No surprises coming up though that anybody's indicated?
You know, not really. We've made a lot of changes to it over time, and especially with the lot line adjustment, so I'm sure that's why the permit's taken as long as it is. But I'd like to have him in front of us and be brought up to speed along with the new commissioners also.
City engineer?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
And so I'll set something up maybe after the 16th of July, if that'll work for you guys. I don't have I'll pin him down first and get a date from him.
It'll have to be after the 18th, because I'll be gone.
Okay, all right.
Did we find out if it's 100% funded?
I did talk to Business Oregon, talked to Melissa, and she pretty much assured me that it was 100% funded.
So we should be reimbursed.
We will be reimbursed for our portion of.
That we've
What
already
we've already
spent.
Yeah, yep.
Where does
Yeah,
that go in the budget?
Our matching portion.
Where would that go in the budget? Mike, that might be a question for you.
Like miscellaneous unbudgeted, we just let her sit there and wait.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't have anything else at this time, unless you guys have any questions.
I did get an email from ID, that was a pleasant surprise. It says we only owe $207,000 to the fine institution on the Pacific View. That's correct, right? Yeah.
Of course it is.
I don't have a document in front of me, but whatever I emailed you was correct.
Yeah. Anyway, it was a pleasant surprise, because we just talked as commissioners and we thought it was 219, or at least I was under the impression.
And I did talk to Dee also, and she said that if we're gonna refinance this, we should get on it sometime before September. I don't know if we can get on it earlier or not.
what would prevent us from doing it earlier?
Is there anything?
Doing it earlier?
Yeah, getting the agreement on.
Early's good, late's bad.
Okay, so I think we ought to get on it.
Okay.
What are you gonna
You might just well do that now before your interest rates start climbing higher.
There you go.
You better, the feds are hot on that.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't lock it, the fund would be locked in now, if it just wouldn't.
No, not as of now, it'd be a
What's the rate on
maturity,
it?
I'm guessing.
Typically, we will give you a proposal of what it would be at maturity to renew it, but the proposal would be locked in
Once we, okay.
once we gave.
Okay.
Yeah, it's out there with.
Will you, Dave, will you just get with Dee then and find out the documentation we need to move forward?
Okay.
Thank you for being here and answering that vital question when we can come in and.
Come on down, Dave.
Dee, typically, there'd be no prepayment penalty if we sold the property and paid off the loan.
No.
I was hoping that would be.
What are you gonna refinance for lower interest rate? I mean, you're.
No, higher.
No, it's-
higher.
It's maturing.
The note is maturing, we can either pay it off or
Oh, okay, so
refinance
you're on
it.
It's a commercial loan.
It's that property that he gave that was talking.
Right.
Pacific View Industrial Park. And I want to say the presentation by Keith, I learned more in that short presentation than I've learned from any realtor. And I'll go on record as saying, I don't support his idea. Realtors to me play a valuable part in the growth of Florence. And it'd be my opinion to pay a realtor twice that. If anybody brings us a buyer, my personal opinion is I'm happy to pay them for bringing us a buyer. I don't care who it is. So,
How much is the note on that property?
That's what they're doing.
207,000 is our balance.
December, it'll be to us.
And we've had it listed for 875. And it's 875, I mean, anybody knows, they aren't gonna just come in and offer 875, they're gonna offer us.
No, they haven't even nibbled at it yet.
Yeah, there hasn't
We
even been
haven't
an
even-
Is that,
attempt.
is that like commercial, like that hydraulic guy that put in up there, or you do?
No.
It's one massive parcel, it's a 40-acre parcel
Yes.
that has services right to the edge. of
Right,
it.
right at the cul-de-sac.
Yeah, and so there's lots of infrastructure that would have to be developed
yeah.
if you.
It's of my opinion, it's gonna be, if you bought it for 800,000, it's gonna take $3 million to develop it.
Oh,
And,
easy.
and for some, and he's right, and I've said this from the start, 40 acres is too much. There is a way we can get it knocked down to 5 or 10 acre parcels.
Yeah, but you have to provide services to each one of those, so suddenly your infrastructure costs go.
Oh, yeah, but you.
See, they.
You're gonna have to provide it anyway, probably.
That's-
Well, yeah, it would be curbs and gutters and roads and, I mean,
Well, that's what they're gonna do with 40 acres
yeah,
though,
but I mean, you're talking about,
$3 million.
yeah. And are we in a position to invest $3 million to develop it?
No, we're not,
Yeah, but. some-
we're not, but if we could get it broke down, we could get it
Yeah, but
broke into the 5 or 10
They
acre.
won't let you break it down. They won't let you subdivide it until you provide services on paved roads to those lots. Guaranteed. But,
The city?
oh, yes,
Oh,
yeah,
I know that, but.
yeah.
Now let's just sell it.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it.
I don't agree.
Yeah, get rid of it.
I'm not into development.
I'd love, yeah.
No.
Terry, you're exactly right. The smaller parcels you can break real estate into, but it's just not a matter of it becomes an industrial subdivision if you start breaking it up into smaller parcels. And with paved roads and all the services delivered in front of each of those parcels in terms of water and sewer and.
What's the interest rate on the note now?
3.95.
So we take a hit there.
Yeah, we will take a hit there
Yeah.
for sure, but I'm sure she's gonna do a great job for us. I'm not looking at this.
But Terry, I agree with your sentiments if it were.
Yeah, that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, and I may be totally, but I don't think I'm wrong on that. But I'll inquire about it next time I'm working with Wendy on my little project, so.
You know-
Break it down and sell it as 5 and 10 acre.
I've had the conversation with Wendy several times over breaking it down, and I'd like to have you have that conversation with
Yeah,
her.
I would.
because I have, so. Any other discussion on that while we're talking about it? Because it's kind of the
Not at this time.
dead horse in the room or whatever. I mean,
I would like to disagree with you slightly, on Keith's point, in terms of the way, people currently, somebody that's looking for an industrial parcel like that, they're gonna use the internet, and they're gonna do search engines, and they're gonna go to real estate sites. And, they're not gonna need the hand-holding that somebody that isn't sure of themselves, it's gonna buy a house. It's,
I agree with that, but I'm saying, my point is, I don't care who it is that brings us that buyer. If they're gonna bring us a buyer at $875, I'm happy to pay them
yeah,
6%.
but Keith's point was to bring you a buyer, it's the exposure you have on the internet. And for example, when we.
That doesn't stop us from doing that. We have an exclusive with him, and I'm sure if we go to Andy Johnson and say, hey, we're gonna bring you a buyer, and would you maybe discount your?
Well, we need to negotiate that the next time, and that's exactly it. If we generate the buyer itself, but I'd have to see how we would do that, because typically you are gonna list an agent.
We don't have the
record.
staff to do that, Bill. That's why we chose to go with the Realtor. He says he wants to come in here and volunteer to work with our staff.
Okay.
Is he gonna catch Tracy while he's in the middle of dock walks?
No, I
Or
understand.
Jason while he's out mowing the North 40?
No.
You know, it's not as if the two office ladies that we have that are we're understaffed in the office have time to sit down and
Yeah, it depends on the hours that would be required.
And it would
I
be,
agree.
it would
Well,
be phenomenal.
Let's don't forget either, you know, if the real estate company that's representing us is not displaying, I mean, we're in a position to tell that real estate
Yeah,
company to
find
to
somebody
start doing
else.
something a little bit different.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know, to start adding. We're just not doing that you know, if I'm not mistaken, they were told, they agreed to contact us every month. I've not heard a report. Correct me if
No.
I mean, have they been here?
No.
I've not received anything via email, in the mail, or at this meeting place. Nothing.
When does that listing come up?
So it's a year,
February.
February.
Another 6 months. so-
But the thing is that we can get them on the phone and say, look, this is what we need you to do. Let's hit every place.
Yeah,
Reference our website.
yeah, and if our website wasn't referenced, and as Keith pointed out, our website itself, the port website does a super job of outlining
Yes,
that.
it does.
And it is not difficult, as you know, to provide a link, and you click on that link, and suddenly that same information is there too.
So we're just kind of, partially, it's kind of our
Yeah,
fault,
we
not
need to
getting
hold
on our
them
realtor and going,
Yeah.
let's go, let's get with
Yeah.
this. We haven't heard anything from you
Yeah.
at all.
Another point I'd like to bring up, we have fiduciary responsibility to the public. And until someone tells us it's not worth $800,000, we sell it for $400,000, we're not being responsible to the public. We're selling public property at a reduced price. With that being said, is it worth our time to go ahead and have, there was an appraisal done, wasn't there, Dave? Or was it just a valuation?
I believe it was more like a valuation, because it gave an actual price of, I believe, 500,000.
Do we need to pay the money to have the appraisal done? It's gonna
A
come to that.
commercial appraisal is very relatively
Because I
expensive.
sent
It
each,
is.
I sent
Five.
each of you an email of that at one time when Keith was brought it to our attention.
But I agree with your fiduciary responsibility, but the market tells you if you're priced right. And the point Keith was making about every year, look again and put a new strike price out there. I mean, if you're not getting any nibbles, any interest at all, and I'm not sure reducing it is still gonna get, because that is, as you pointed out, to actually develop that parcel is 4 or 5 times the price we're asking for the parcel if you're gonna, because somebody's not gonna come in here and put a massive building on 40 acres. They're gonna come in and they're gonna do an industrial subdivision. And And I don't know that there's a market for it.
Well, why do you think the county sold it to us for $250,000?
Because they thought we were suckers.
They did the same thing to us. We got a park outside the city limits for $240,000. We don't have the money to develop it, we won't have it for 20 years.
That's the position we're in.
We're in the same boat.
Why don't you buy ours and?
Well, you can buy ours.
David, maybe before the next meeting, I'd like to see our total cost in that property.
Ron, give us your 30 seconds on our discussion. Just, you've been very insightful to this board in the past.
It's a tough sell. That big a piece of property is a very tough sell. There's not enough housing around to support that kind of industrial development.
It's a lot of years away.
A lot of years away. We're in the same boat, the city. We all need good paying jobs, and they only come from people that pay good salaries, and typically nowadays, you don't get it in that kind of a site. You get it in smaller sites. So,
Yeah, if you're buying 40 acres, realistically, they're only gonna use 5 acres of it anyway. They got 35 acres they gotta pay tax on.
yeah.
And my comment about if you're gonna divide it into 5-acre parcels and you deal with the city, my comment was essentially you're doing an industrial subdivision and you're gonna provide roads and sewer and water and.
It's a bear. I mean, that's
Yeah.
very expensive. And I'm not saying it can't be done, but there's also county that you have to deal with and state. It's not just the city. I mean, we follow their rules.
You got overlays like you, dunes overlays and everything out here.
Oh, yeah, no.
And I went through it.
Yes,
What's it
yeah.
zoned?
I think we ought to be more concerned
It's
about
commercial.
total cost
It's
in it
commercial.
and what we can get out of it.
Yep.
That's what I think.
But I know we don't have the funds to develop it, but I still think it is dividable. And I know you and I differ, but we'll find out.
Well, that's all I would say, that if it's dividable, you can sell it as a dividable piece of property.
Why don't we?
We don't have
You don't have to do that, I mean, if you can get permission from the
Well,
city, and sell it as a
that's a
dividable.
different question.
Yeah, no,
a
that's what I would say,
different
dividable piece of property, not an acreage.
David, I would encourage you to contact Wendy Farley.
We could have a work session on that. What
Yeah.
the chances of her coming here and talking to us
That
about
would
it?
be
We all hear the
wonderful.
same thing.
I'd love to do it.
I
See what
would
you can
too.
do, Dave.
Okay.
And at that same time, maybe ask her about Harbor Street.
Yeah, have her bring the information on that too.
So, just to get caught up to speed, how long have we had that 40 acres?
Dee can answer that.
10 years? Wasn't the first note 5 years? And then we refinanced and had a
Refinanced for
5-year
five.
call.
Yeah.
And how long have we held it for sale?
The whole
10
time.
years
The whole
old.
time?
We bought it from the
But
soul.
we started out at $1.5 million.
John, you have a question?
A comment.
Sure.
I don't think the problem is the price you're asking. It's the return on investment when they buy it, because as you know, the other business park and industrial parks haven't sold the properties. If you have Wendy come down and give you a work session, have her give the report the city just finished up on buildable lands inventory and what the consultants put in that report of what type of business would want to come to Florence. It might help you determine who you market to.
And the marketability is what it is, if you can get it marketed as dividable land, don't do it yourself, just market it that way.
Exactly. And I think Wendy can answer them questions.
Super.
I was kind of hoping our real estate agent would answer those questions.
Well, I think we posed these questions to the agent of record when we signed him on, and we never ever really got any answers. And I owe that to us, we haven't followed up on it, now it's time.
Who is it?
Andy Johnson would be the agent of record.
The
Coldwell. Ron, can you answer me, I like utilizing your expertise,
Very little of that, that's okay.
the fiduciary responsibility aspect of it.
you know, if you make an honest attempt to sell it, and you've been sitting with it for 10 years, nobody can fault you for coming down with the price.
That's a good point.
Excellent point.
It's a good point, thank you. John?
And Terry, I think it originally was marketed at one piece because it is shovel-ready as the 40-acre site, and it's not shovel-ready if it's broke up into smaller parts.
Absolutely.
Kelly, didn't we have a ruling on that it did stay with it?
No, I remember that, if it was. if-
They said no?
if-
Okay.
If you were to subdivide it, that shovel-ready status would.
Go
That-
away.
Yeah, that's
Go away.
because, again, if
And
you
that's why we-
subdivide it, all those services have to be delivered to each of them. Right now, it's delivered to one tax lot or one entity.
Yeah.
David, you've been to the property. Is our access off the cul-de-sac there?
That's the only access that I know of, yeah.
We don't have access off 34th?
Not that I'm aware of, no, there's only one access point where that cul-de-sac is right there, and there's a big manhole in the services
Okay,
right there
okay.
to the.
Well,
to
see,
the
that's more
cul-de-sac.
information than I've ever had. And how are you coming on the Scotch broom?
We've been out there one time. and we
Making
made that
progress.
change.
Does it look like you've been out there?
Oh, yeah, yeah, you can tell we've been out
And we satisfied the city.
there. I don't know. I don't know that we've satisfied anybody.
We're working on it. It's a work in
We've made an
progress.
attempt.
Very good, very good. Commissioner reports, anything to report? Bill?
I did manage to make the Chamber of Commerce meeting, and I told them we were gonna select 2 outstanding commissioners this evening, and we have, so I have nothing else to report. I told them we were gonna do a good job, and I think we did.
Craig won?
No, I'm good.
You have anything
Well,
about the
he's been
STEP
working on the
program?
fish cleaning.
Oh, the
Steve.
STEP
Yeah.
program, yeah, we're remodeling the old fish community, we're always doing something. I mean, I'll do anything we can through the STEP, but I don't want to interfere with everything else as being a commissioner too, so, you know.
Oh, you can work all you want out there.
Yeah, but I still have to go through my board over there too.
But-
Yeah,
You're still working on the fish cleaning station?
oh, yeah.
I
yeah.
saw him out there today.
Yeah, we should have it done hopefully by the middle of next week. We'll get the new plastic and everything in there. It's gonna be wide out, go by it on the way out.
Right out here.
You'd be able to have.
Just
Make it
put
so you
made
can
it
get
wider so you
access
can
both sides.
Access both
Yeah.
sides.
Manager Huntington said that he would like to have and maybe we can get STEP to do this, a porta use law with halibut hanging hooks.
Yeah, I showed that to you.
Yeah.
I think
Oh, yeah,
that's a
I
great
think we can
idea.
do that. All we gotta do is, you know who the president of that is. Caputo. So,
Yes.
you know, I mean, we're willing to do a lot of stuff like that, and that's one thing about it, you know. I mean, we built this, I mean, if we need to go out for grants for the STEP group to help us, I can do that too. We can, you know.
Well, I think that there, we could almost kick in as a port.
Watch it, don't spend any money.
Yeah, don't spend any
After
money.
the first of July, we can.
Yeah. We don't wanna spend a lot of money if we can get educational grants for all this stuff, see?
I like the talk.
Because it doesn't cost you guys anything.
I just
really
want to
like
say,
that.
in my part in closing, I didn't disagree with anything Keith said. Very good points. I don't want to have anybody say on record I disagreed with him. I do have a little disagreement with the realtors. They play a vital part. So I just wanted to clear that up. Mike?
Well, I feel the same way about the realtors, so I do want, I'd like to get more up to speed with it. But the one thing I want to say is I'd like to welcome both of you to this commission.
Thank you.
I'm excited to have your ideas, to hear your ideas, and to see your energy, and for you to go to meetings for us. I'm excited about that.
Can't wait.
You got a Democratic convention that Craig one can go to?
Oh, yeah, you're in the wrong place, buddy, you know that. We'll set fire.
Craig, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I would just like to say that I'm honored to be on commissioner here, and I'm looking forward to working with everyone. So it's an exciting evening for me, and I'm looking forward to the future here.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
I would point out that you may want to look at your nameplate before they have it printed, because I can't even say your last name, let alone spell it, so.
Yeah, that's no problem.
Okay.
I'll make sure of
Welcome
that.
aboard.
I'm used to
Welcome
that.
aboard. David,
I've given you everything that I know.
any other public comments? Yes, John?
Chairperson Newman, it might be a good time with 2 new commissioners that you guys schedule a commissioner training session.
very good point, and staff will look into that. I wasn't gonna say it tonight, because once they get elected, they're kind of up here, then they realize they gotta go to training.
They'll come to you for training.
No, they won't come to me. They better go somewhere else.
And
But thank you.
I think there's some good ones this summer that, they'll be put on by the special districts and so forth. Yeah. So, I'd like to recommend both of you attend this is the new commissioners, actually, it's new district members. It covers a variety of districts, fire districts and court districts and so forth, but they have an excellent training session. You'll get to see highlight one of our former commissioners if they're still doing the same training sessions.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
With that
I
being
will
said,
say-
Kelly, Dina said something about how I failed, I found the CDs on commissioner training.
Oh, you did?
I did. And I will return them to you.
Yeah, the question is, did you view them?
Oh, I viewed them.
Oh, okay.
And I swore to Dina that I returned them, and I cleaned out my desk. I will get them to you for these gentlemen to use.
Okay.
And that will be suffice. With that being said, let's close the public meeting. Thank you, everybody, for attendance.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good job.
Thank you, Bill.
Oh.